All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Now, this past Saturday, saw Bo Jackson take his place among the great players in Kansas City Royals history as the franchise inducted him into their Hall of Fame. Now, for anyone that never had the privilege to see Bo Jackson play, he was truly indeed a freak of nature. As no disrespect, but the younger generation doesn't know how good that he was. Okay. I mean, the YouTube highlights are out there, you name it, this, that, and the third, but you just had to see it, okay, to truly grasp it. And for me, there's no doubt in my mind that had Bo, and I'm not the only person who believes this, okay? But there's no doubt in my mind that if Bo Jackson had not gotten hurt with that freak injury playing football with the hip injury, we're probably talking about a guy that is in both Cooperstown and Canton. Okay, that's how talented that he was. I mean, you think about it from a football perspective. Bo only played 23 games in the national, pardon me, 38 games in the National Football League. Started 23, uh, but it was one of those where he was just electric. And for that era, late 80s, early 90s, as far as football went, back when the running back position was still valued in the National Football League, I'll tell you like this. That era is really about, when you think about running backs, two of the first running backs that come to mind, Emmett Smith and Barry Sanders. And, a lot of people feel that Barry Sanders was one of, if not the greatest running back ever. Okay, there's several guys who can go in that conversation: Jim Brown, Walter Payton, for my money. And then, of course, Emmett Smith, the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Bo would have been right in that conversation because we're talking about a guy, uh, even in 1989, in 11 games, gained almost 1,000 yards rushing. You just think about the impact that he had on a football field. He was must see TV. Then, from the baseball perspective, the freak athleticism. Okay, I saw Bo Jackson in person hit a home run, and I've said this to people before, and I will continue to say it. The ball off of his bat sounded different. Okay, and some of the great players, okay, are like that. I know people, wasn't old enough to see, Willie Stargell play in person, but I know people who talked about the way that he hit the baseball. Your Darryl Strawberries, your Reggie Jacksons, your Albert Pujolses, and so many others. Okay, but for my money, when Bo Jackson hit that baseball, it sounded different. I saw him in person throw the baseball from right field on a frozen rope to third base. Okay. And I think when I think about Bo Jackson's arm, I think about that infamous play, at the Kingdome to throw Harold Reynolds out from deep in the outfield at the plate. And for anybody, who remembers baseball in the 1980s, Harold Reynolds was one of the faster guys in MLB. Okay. You think about Bo Jackson's freak athleticism running up a wall. You think about that infamous classic game when he was on the Royals, and for a hot second, Deion Sanders was with the New York Yankees. And these two, phenoms, okay, at multiple sports were on the same field. Okay. I think about that All-Star game home run in Anaheim where, Eric Davis, who's playing center field that day, starting the game for the National League, just turned around and did a little trot and he just did the trot for my money to get his cardio in because when Bo Jackson hit the ball, it just sounded different. And it just went south for him as an athlete after that hip injury. He came back and played baseball, was not the same guy, but still was good enough to play for several seasons. And of course, never again in the National Football League. But nonetheless, for that brief glimpse, we got to see true greatness. Okay. You think about the infamous Monday Night Football run against the Seahawks. And of course, Al Michaels saying, "There goes Bo." And Bo streaked up the sideline, ran through the tunnel, and some of his Raiders teammates had to go get him. Because, I mean, even when Bo Jackson hit the end zone, he was still booking, breaking the bat over his knee. You think about the Pro Stars cartoon with him, Michael Jordan, and Wayne Gretzky on it. I mean, that's how good Bo Jackson was. And it was truly nice to see the Royals honor him because, again, like I said before, for that brief period of time, he was one of the most impactful players in Royals franchise history. For me, of course, a lot of people have posed the question, and I'm going to pose it right now. Will there ever be another Bo Jackson? And I'm going to say no, because nowadays the youngsters don't play multiple sports growing up like they did once upon a time. They're kind of like pigeonholed into one sport from an early age. And guys like Bo Jackson, guys like Deion Sanders, Herschel Walker, they're super jocks. These guys could do it all. And, Bo was a phenomenal baseball player, phenomenal football player as well. And he was going to be one of the greats, but it's still nice to see that the Kansas City Royals honored him the way that George Brett, arguably the greatest Royal ever, spoke of him so glowingly because they were teammates for several years. But nonetheless, Bo Jackson, it was very, you know, fitting, and it showed a lot of class by the Royals to honor one of their greats. Like I said before, there will never be another Bo Jackson, but if you ever got to watch him in person, you were truly privileged. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.